Conversations podcast powered by Just Talk and Will Edwards.
Conversations. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Shall I say co-host extraordinaire?
Thank you. Thank you for having me again.
It is good to have you. And also I want to say in support of another outstanding co-host who's now managing the chat room is Lisa Listen.
Lisa, listen, I was just retweeting what you were putting up, Lisa, just before we went on the air.
Yes. So round of applause for both co-hosts Will Edwards and Lisa Listen. Good stuff. We have got a really good program.
No, this is a good one, man.
Yeah, it had us talking on and off camera. So
we had to stop ourselves.
We did. And in fact, I'm going to stop us right now because I want to ask something about you before we jump right into the topic. I want to know about where do we stand with We Funny?
Yes.
And I want to know where we stand with the Will Edwards Show, the late night show.
Nice. Well,
Bring us up.
The Will Edwards Show is Vegas' only late-night variety talk show.
Okay.
And we're on hiatus right now.
Okay.
We're doing a few other projects here and there, trying to make some magic happen in different places.
I get it.
But we'll be back in the studio this fall.
Nice.
And some phenomenal stuff coming out.
I like it.
Soon.
Okay, good. And August 8th, you have We Funny. Tell us about it. And where is it
Funny
at?
Comedy Show. Funny Comedy Show. August 8th. It's a Saturday night. The bar opens at 7.
Okay.
Doors open 8:30. The show starts at 9 p.m. We feature 3 local comedians. Very funny, fantastic talent.
It's a good program.
And then we bring someone in from L.A. or San Francisco to just slay the crowd at the very end. And let me just tell you something. We've had some great shows. So if you're in for some comedy, come on down to Inspire Theater, Las Vegas Boulevard, and Fremont East.
You know what? We have been to several of those shows, and we haven't been to one that wasn't good. They've all been good and priced right as well.
Well, yeah, it's $10 cover charge at the door. We split it with all the comedians. So if you come down, you're supporting someone, you're feeding someone.
Nice. Well, you keep up the good work. You've got some great stuff going on.
Thank you, sir.
Anything else you can air for us, or is that about it?
Well, you know what? I am doing Squarewear by Will Edwards,
which you're wearing,
I'm wearing right now. Everybody, take a look. You can check us out on Instagram, on Facebook. But we're going for a big launch in September. Just did a huge photo shoot yesterday.
You're going big time,
dude. I'm not joking around.
I'm gonna have to start calling you Hollywood. Because I'm feeling like I got a little Hollywood in the house here.
I'm not joking around. How about you, man? What's the word?
Great things going on here as well. We've got some pretty good speaking engagements coming down the pike. Nice. Possibly locking in Vancouver, Canada shortly. That might be the first week in September. You're
popular up there anyway.
I love Vancouver, Canada.
They love you. No, they love you. Every time I turn around, that's where you are.
Yes, that's a good one. We are also doing some great work with a really good group called Anderson Audiology, and we have a leadership program coming up with them that's going to be August 5th, I believe.
That's exciting.
August 5th. So that's going to be a 3-hour workshop for Anderson Audiology. That's an incredible group of people.
Good for you.
And it's nice to be part of such great leadership.
Yeah.
So
well, good for you and good for them.
Yep, it's going to be good. So let's get into the show.
Yes,
How about this?
Let's do it.
Bullying in the workplace. Wow. It's really a unique thing, this bullying in the workplace. But look, where does it start, though?
Well, can I just say this? I don't think we know. We
don't. When it's happening? When it's happened
as an adult, we don't know that we're being bullied.
No. We think. Well, have you ever been bullied in the workplace?
Yes.
Okay.
I have, and it was. I didn't even think that's what it was. I just thought I had a bad boss.
Can you share a bit about what it is without rolling anybody under the bus? Or if you want to roll them under the bus, we can pull the bus in.
Open the back door. Let's get that bus in here. So what happened is that I was I ran a customer service department for an online business.
Okay.
And and every day I just got hammered at meetings and beat up and my office was a closet, literally a closet. And
were there any particular incidents that made you feel sort of picked upon or not singled out for not good stuff or any of that?
Well, in meetings, the head of the company would demand that we all fought.
Oh.
Like, if you're not angry or you're not fighting each other for positioning, you're not passionate.
Okay.
So I'm like, I'm not fighting nobody because I didn't come here to fight people.
But did anybody ever actually attack you or verbally or put you in a bad position or
constantly? Let me just say something too. Being a customer service rep for that company was horrible. We had clients coming into the business because the business wasn't doing right by these clients.
Right.
So it puts you in a really stressful position.
Precarious.
So now I have to go and explain, why this is not right to the person that owns it.
Making it right.
Right. And then he's telling me, just illogical things. Like, it doesn't make sense. How am I supposed to work if you're not giving me what I need to be successful, and you're just tossing me into this thing?
But you didn't think of it as bullying at the
No.
time. What did it feel like?
But I'm going to tell you what, it just felt like, I'm going to try harder. I'm going to work harder. I'm going to get some more. I'm going to try to get in there sooner. But I'm going to tell you something. I lost probably 20, 30 pounds.
Wow.
I wouldn't eat.
Wow.
I didn't want to go to work.
Wow.
I was ill every morning.
I want to come back to that. I've got a lot of things I want to say about that. Lisa, you got someone in the chat room that maybe either comment on Will saying or something different.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Okay, this is from Ruth. Ruth says, I allow myself to get bullied more than I'd like to admit. No is a complete sentence, but I find myself bullied into reluctant yeses. Is there a cure for the disease of being a people pleaser?
Let's answer that and then come back to your story.
That's a good question.
You want to take a toss at that?
Go at it. That's a really good question. I mean, it's very hard as an individual, especially when you're a person that really wants to help others and things like that. People sometimes take advantage of that, and they can end up bullying it, like Ruth is talking about.
So is Ruth basically, Lisa? Would you say that Ruth is basically talking about the disease to please and over-serving?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Dead on.
Yeah, there is. I believe the first place, and I want you to go back and forth with me on this, Will, is awareness.
Yes.
She's already made the very first best step in just making herself aware that she is a party to this likely codependent sort of situation.
Exactly.
What is it in Ruth that continues to allow it, that keeps the game going, and the people that are doing it, they're doing it to get what they want always.
Right.
She's doing it because she wants to please.
Right.
But now you got a codependent situation. So what I would say to Ruth is first, awareness first, and secondly, she has to determine when enough is enough.
Exactly. She has to make a clear decision for
Ruth,
herself.
For Ruth.
It has to start with her.
Correct. And then she has to then communicate that at the right times when her thresholds have been breached.
Yes.
It's time for her to pull back and say something to the effect of, Will, I'd love to be able to help you with that. At this time, that's not going to work because of X, Y, Z. Well, she doesn't even have to give a reason.
No.
She could say, I'm so sorry, I'm not going to be able to assist with that.
Exactly.
When enough people start to hear her say, no, I can't, or no, I can't at this time, or no, I don't want to, or no, that's impossible, they'll pull back.
Right.
But they're going to keep bringing it as long as she keeps serving it.
And that's why, and that's one of the things that a bully will do.
Absolutely.
They will take advantage of that.
Right. And so she's sort of caught in that. She's got to stop that web of codependency by making a clear-cut line when whatever she's willing to give, that's enough.
Exactly. And she has to decide and stick to it. She has to stick to that decision.
Fair enough. And Lisa, is there another question available in the chat room or a comment?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
This one is from Madeline. She said, those individuals that want you out because they want your position use bullying as an attack tool.
I totally agree.
That's true.
Madeline's right on the spot. Do you have any insight on that?
That's true. Well, I mean, it's pretty simple, right? You have someone in there that, and I got this. I did a little bit of research before the show on this whole thing, and the bully's going to go after the most competent person around.
Funny you should say that, because you're so spot on with that, and it actually speaks right to what Madeline's talking about, who also was a very, very competent executive when she was in the game.
Right.
And they do go after that. In fact, I've heard a saying, best said this, by a very high wealth individual that I was dealing with after I had some bullying that had me leave a job.
Sure.
As it turns out, he said to me, incompetence always drives competence out.
It's true.
Incompetence always drives competence out.
It's crazy.
Which is exactly what you're saying here. And think about, so what is it and what is it not? Bullying in the workplace is harassment, it's mobbing, it's people that are insensitive to human nature things, it's teasing and gossiping, it's purposely withholding business information. I was at a job once where I was a credit executive, high-level credit executive, and I couldn't see what was going on behind me, and I was helping a lady with a $25,000 credit line, complete stranger, and that was part of my responsibility. And when I finished the credit line, she whispered to me, "I need to see you outside this room." I go, "Okay." When I got outside the room, she says, "I don't know what's going on in there with those other executives, but the whole time that you were helping me, they were gesturing and making bad faces and flipping you off behind your back."
Wow, in front of her.
But they were, because they didn't think she was going to tell me what was going on.
Wow.
How's that leave you feeling to come back into something like that?
Horrible.
Looks like we have another live chat question. I still want to get back to what you said.
Don't worry. Let's have this chat.
Okay, this one is from Mary. I lost my job of 14 years recently to a very small but successful company due to bullying. A woman I hired decided she wanted my job, so over 2 years she turned the owner against me with fabricated stories until I was let go. I constantly explained she was lying and tried to stand up for myself. What could I have done differently to save my job, and how can I get mental peace from this?
That's hard. That's a big one. The first thing, to save her job, we can't really speculate what would have saved her job. We can speculate what would have put her in a better position and a better place.
Right.
If she had done very much like what Ruth was asking, which is to take a stand down.
Yeah.
Take some time to think about how to manage the situation. A lot of times we keep hoping it's going to go away.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
We hope it's going to go away.
We just hope one day we're going to walk in and it's going to be all done.
Stop it. And typically they don't. The bullies don't do that. So what Mary could have done, and I don't like to play Monday morning quarterback because there's some other elements that we don't know about as well.
Exactly.
But let's assume it was most challenging element.
Right.
She could have said, "Okay, let me pull together my mastermind. Let me get with people that care about me, that love me, that know my quality of how I do things, and let me have a conversation with them about what's possible."
Right.
And then they could have drawn a line in the sand that she's not going to allow herself to be manipulated or taken advantage of or exploited just to save that job and stand up for herself. A lot of times when you stand up for yourself with the bully, they stand down. Not always, but a lot.
Let me say this too. In addition to that, one thing that I have found that has helped me over the years is turning to whoever that person is and looking them right in the eye and saying, "I know what you're doing."
That's really good.
Just give it right to them. I know exactly what it is that you're doing right now. And then I walk away.
And you know why that's good, Will?
Because let me just say this.
Confronting them.
Yes, you confront them, but I don't want to have a conversation with you. I want to leave that little dot in your head that you think you have something over me. No way.
Right.
I know what you're doing. I know exactly. And then I walk away, and it leaves them going, "Okay,
maybe I better back off on this."
Exactly,
because you don't turn it into a debate.
Because here's the other thing too, guys out there. One of the things, this wasn't a workplace thing, but I was in a theater program in college, and this kid walked around and he put his finger in people's noses. This is a silly explanation, right? That's all he did. He would just put his finger in people's nose, and people would allow it.
Okay.
So he comes up to me one day, and he begins to try to put his... I turned to him and I said, "Listen, if you want to keep that finger, you will keep it away from me."
Right.
That dude respected me the entire year just because I confronted him and I told him no.
Because it's not going to happen.
It's
not on my watch, not in my house.
to me.
Right. Now, that's really good. And guess what? That takes us back to childhood bullying.
Yeah.
When I'll never forget, his name was Ricky Brown. Ricky Brown was one of those kids that was in the 4th grade.
You out there, Ricky? You better listen up.
Ricky Brown, if you heard this, he's going to laugh because he knows the story. To your point, you did the same thing that I'm going to say that I did with Ricky. Ricky Brown was a very scary kid. He was stronger than everybody else. He was faster than everyone else. He was sharp. He had these really light-colored brown eyes. You could almost see through his eyes. He had really light brown sort of he was a black kid. Really vindictive, cantankerous kid.
Wow.
And he was a bully, and he used to beat people up all the time. And there was a confrontation between him and I on the slide, and I just knew I'm toast because he's Ricky Brown. And I decided I am going to get the first punch in because that's probably the last punch I'm going to get in. So I punched Ricky Brown in the stomach.
Okay.
Ricky Brown fell over to the ground by the slide and was curled up in a ball. And he started to cry. I'm thinking, oh, my God, I am now dead for sure.
Ricky Brown's
I made Ricky Brown cry.
He's not going to have that.
What do you think Ricky Brown did to me when he got up?
Probably nothing.
Nothing. What do you think he did to me through the rest of the school year?
Not another thing.
Because I confronted them. Now, I did it out of fear.
Right.
And when you confront the bully, a lot of times they will stand down because bullying is about someone else and their insecurities.
Correct.
Right? And
Correct.
They're forcing that on the top of you. What do you think?
Correct. I agree. I am a firm believer in confronting people.
You did that with the finger in the nose. You're not going to have that in my house.
Dude, I'm not doing that. And you're not doing it.
So talk to me about the feelings you were feeling on the other job where you said that you started to have all these feelings. I was relating to that.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I lost a lot of weight. Mentally, I was questioning myself. I was questioning, my capacity to get my job done, and who I was and what I was doing within the whole thing. So it was pretty tough. I ended up just leaving. I put myself in a financial bind because I felt like if I stayed there, I would get more unhealthy. It was a very, very serious situation.
And you likely might have, and I totally get what you're saying. And I actually, believe it or not, I did exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Very similar situations. I was a director of marketing at the Flamingo Hilton at the time. And there was a mutiny. There were 3 of us at the top that ran the department.
Sure.
And all of them turned against me.
Wow.
I heard my vice president say to one of the assistants below me in a meeting, I said something wrong, and she went to correct it so that I would get it right. He goes, shh, don't say anything. You think it was easy for me to concentrate during that meeting after that?
No.
It got so bad, like you, I lost a bunch of weight.
Yep.
I lost a lot of self-esteem. I lost a lot of credibility. I couldn't believe, because when it's happening, it's hard to believe that it's happening to you.
Exactly.
You don't see it as bullying.
And you don't look at it that way. I never looked at it that way.
Right. Neither did I. And so I ended up having to walk away from that. I chose to walk away from that job just like you did.
Exactly.
To recover my health. It only took 5 years.
Wow.
After that.
Wow. It takes a minute to get back from it.
It really does.
But
take a minute.
Here's the deal: either you're going to confront that individual and handle it, or if the situation is larger than that, you have to make a decision.
You have to take that first bite, because if you don't, it will eat you.
Exactly.
And I believe, Lisa, you have someone in the chat room that wants to share something with us.
Yes, I do. It's Julie, and she says, "How do you address the backlash calling somebody out as a bully?"
You don't worry about the backlash.
No.
I think, because here's the thing. I don't think you worry about backlash. I think you deal with each and every situation as it comes. You don't have a one-size-fits-all.
Right.
What
and
are your thoughts?
Yeah, and don't go into it like I'm going to now bully them.
Correct.
That's not the way to do it. All you're doing is just taking up for yourself, and you're communicating to the bully. If the bully, let me just say this, if the bully has already spoken to everybody and you stand up and say, I'm being bullied by this person, no one's going to believe you. But if you get in that bully's face,
right,
and you say, let me tell you something, I know exactly what's happening here. And I know exactly what you're doing, and I know what you're trying to do. I have my eye on you.
Right.
And you just walk away.
And I'm not going to stand.
And I'm not going to stand for it. And leave. Don't have a conversation. Don't have them respond to you. If they do, that's your business. I'm going to walk away from it. Walk away.
But the thing is, you have to deal with it. You can't just let it happen to you, because it'll deteriorate you. Your self-esteem goes away. You could cause depression.
Mental.
You don't think about
health
this.
is
I was watching
part of that.
It is total mental health preservation.
Sure.
Mike Tyson suffered from self-esteem issues early on in life. He was bullied at home by parents, and he was also bullied at school. He was bullied so much that he stopped going to school just to not have to face the bullies.
Wow.
He even said, even in his championship days, he was scared as all get out to get in that ring. But what he saw in his opponent's eyes, they were more afraid of him than he was of them.
Wow.
But he was very afraid, which you never would have thought that.
Never.
And his self-esteem issues perpetuated because of bullying.
Wow.
Even as an adult.
Yeah.
And get this, I also researched Christian Bale was bullied.
Wow.
A few other, Rihanna, Chris Rock, Lady Gaga, Jessica Alba, Jennifer Lawrence, Tom Cruise, Taylor Swift, Madonna.
Yeah.
President Barack Obama. Well, these people all admitted that they were bullied along the way. So bullying is it's a pretty common thing, but it destroys the insides of people.
It does.
And Lisa, looks like you have another question for us or a comment.
Yes, this is from Christian. Bullying a coworker gets closer a coworker gets closer with the boss, then he tries to delegate the work to you that they should be doing, but they have a close relationship. What do you do in a case like this?
What do you do in a case like that, Will?
You know what? That's a good question. I think that it comes down to part of all of this, too, is you got to know your rights. You got to know who you are, what you're doing. You also got to know what your job is. And you know, this is my opinion anyway, and what your description is. Right. If somebody's dumping off their work and everything to you, well, you know what? That's not part of my job description.
Right.
You know, I'd love to help you. Or if he's standing next to the boss, love to help you, but it's really not part of my job description. This is what I have. This is what I'm working with.
But what if that work is being sanctioned, that even though it's not in your job description, that person getting away with it because they have a close relationship with the boss? Now what?
That's a hard one.
Well,
what do you think?
I believe that we have first have a conversation with the person that's putting it on us.
Sure.
And I want to know, why is it that I don't mind helping.
Correct.
I will help. But I want you to realize this is not my responsibility. This is yours.
Right.
I can help you for X number of hours. Will that be okay? Which likely it's not okay.
Right.
He's going to say, no, you're going to do it. Then what I would have is, you and I have a conversation with the boss. Don't be afraid of the fact he's got a special relationship with the boss.
Right.
The three of you get in there and have that conversation. If he doesn't want to have the conversation, then you go and have the conversation.
It's about confronting.
It is about confronting. It's the same thing.
Yep.
So that's Christian. Right. That's a good one. That's a good
question.
If you're out there watching this, Christian, that is a very, very good one.
And we're not saying it's easy, Christian.
No,
we're not saying at all that scheduling that meeting and having that meeting is going to be easy. But you got to do it.
But it can be lingering effects.
Yes.
In terms of what happens to us, what we do to ourselves as a result of the bullying.
It's true.
But I think it mostly becomes from where it's hard to believe that someone's actually taken that sort of an offensive with us.
Yeah.
It's really hard to believe that, even when it's happened.
Well, usually the people that are being bullied are the lighter-hearted people, the people who really want to do their best, give their all, give 150%. It's usually those people that are really the ones that are being attacked. So it's tough.
I totally agree with you.
It's tough.
But isn't this a very electric conversation?
It is. I'm ready to go confront someone right now. Shake my finger at some people.
You want to go straight. You want to straighten out some of those things from the past.
Right
exactly.
Now.
Well, speaking about straightening out, I want to actually do just a quick break in the program to talk about where people can find us, because a lot of folks think they can only find us on the internet, but there's actually other places.
Like where?
Yeah, number one, you can find us on iTunes.
Really?
You can find us on Apple TV.
Holy
You
smoke.
can also discover us on Roku and Google TV. Wow. YouTube, of course, and RSS feeds. Vegas Video Network obviously says, woohoo, for Vegas Video Network.
Give it up.
Right, yeah. They can also catch us on Stitcher and Facebook and Twitter. That Twitter would be...
How do you keep up with all this?
You know what? I'm just going to say thank goodness for Lisa and her tenacity, because that's a lot of how we're able to keep up with this.
Smokes.
In fact, at Lisa, if you go to Twitter at Lisa_listen, you can catch us there, or even at Just Talk on Twitter. So these are all the places you can actually catch this broadcast again and again. So you might want to catch it at a time on demand for you.
Wow, I thought I had a lot of stuff going on. This is too much.
Yeah, this is a good stuff.
That's good stuff.
So I wanted to throw that in there.
Nice.
And I also want to add, before we close the show, and I know we have a few more minutes, we're going to get back to the bullying thing, I want to add another plug for that whole We Funny piece. You know, the good part about the We Funny is, well, let me tell you what it does for us. We Funny puts both Lisa and myself in a great disposition. We get excited about coming there.
Nice.
We don't go there with any expectations. We definitely want to support you.
I appreciate that.
See you.
Appreciate that.
We love that you are growing as a comedian. You are actually doing some wonderful things. I love your growth.
I'm working on it, man.
You know what?
It's terrifying.
If you grew your hair out, you look like Donna Summer, because you work hard for the money. I told Lou Gossett Jr. that. Now I'm telling you that
all right,
too.
Good. Thank you.
And so no, you it doesn't look like you're working hard. You make it look effortless, and we leave there feeling very, very good and very appreciative that we've invested the time and the resources to be there.
Thank you.
So I wanted to throw that one in there as well.
I need to use some of those words in our advertising. Man, that's awesome.
I just made them all up.
I know. I'm gonna go back and watch this and pull some words out of there. Yeah, We Funny Comedy Show. It's a lot of fun, and we're just supporting people. And come on down, enjoy, have a cocktail, You know what? I am hilarious after you've had a couple of cocktails.
You were hilarious before it. You just get funnier afterward. That's why it's We Funny. No, that's good. So we're going to do another plug. I want to also say that next week on our show, we're going to have Mary Beth Sewall, who's the president of Nevada Broadcasting Association.
Wow.
And along with her will be Eric Bonici, who is their executive director.
Nice.
So they're going to be on the program next week discussing their annual gala event and why this is so important to broadcasting and the community. That's what they're going to be discussing the next time as well.
Tune in.
Yeah, so that's going to be a great, great program. Those are awesome. Wonderful people there. So back to the bullying as we close. We've got about 3-4 minutes that we get to close and talk about. Is there anybody else that you've watched to get? First off, what do you think about the celebrities that I mentioned that were bullied?
Here's the deal. Anyone that has a creative mind, that is creative, that is forward thinking, that is moving forward, I would imagine that they were bullied. I would imagine that just because the creative minds are just open. We're just open, right? We're looking for different experiences and things to come in, and we're working very hard, and we think about our reputation and how people look at us and how we leave people feeling. We think about all of these things, so it's very easy for someone to walk in and go, I have some extra work. Could you just do that for me real quick and just get it back to me, and then I'll send it to the boss.
Yes.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, very slick.
It's very, and like you said, we try to please and we try to please and we try to please.
And what about the impact on the bystanders, the people that watch bullying? That's another whole subject.
That's a whole other subject, man. Why are you digging into that 3 minutes into the?
Because you're smart.
Geez, you're
a smart guy. I like to throw big things at smart people.
3 minutes into the end of the program.
Would you like a laser coaching moment on it?
Can I get one?
No, but the bystanders, there's an impact on the bystanders. They're reluctant to show up in the workplace when that's happening.
Yeah.
They're reluctant to be around that situation. It causes less productivity.
Yeah.
In the areas where only that work can be done because they want to avoid it because of the bullying. I think the bullying affects people beyond the people that they're bullying. That's my point.
I agree with that. 100%.
And they typically feel powerless.
What do you do?
As does the people that are being bullied.
What do you do?
You know what?
Do you stand up and then get bullied yourself? I don't know.
I think what you do is you may pull the person aside that is being bullied as a bystander at the right time and say, let's team up and figure out who we need to talk to get this shut down.
But very quickly, too, though, one of the things, and I said it earlier when we first started, is knowing that you're being bullied.
That's a good point. Because it doesn't feel like that.
Because it doesn't feel you just feel like my boss is a hiney hole, and he just won't stop. He's relentless. I can't please him. Blah blah blah. He keeps coming at me. It's just a tough job. It's a tough business. No.
Two choices: move through it or move on.
Exactly.
Move through it and do what needs to happen, or move on, because it's going to happen anyway.
But recognize.
It's destroying you inside if you don't do that.
And
don't you agree?
I agree with you, but you got to recognize it. You got to see it, and you got to know what it is.
And see it also as not at the time it won't feel like it. You can actually see it as a gift.
Yes.
Because if you can't get it corrected and you're not going to endure it, it's time for you to move on, no matter what you have in that job.
Yes, you will not be able to grow.
No, not only that, it's going to destroy you.
It will. It's true.
So
I agree.
So that's what I would say. I would say move through it
or move on.
I love it. And you did it.
I'm making T-shirts. Buy my move through it or move on T-shirts.
Get them here, 2 for 1.
2 for 1
on the podcast Conversations by Just Talk and Will Edwards.
Exactly.
2 for 1 special. I hope they don't hold us to
I'm not. Yeah, I think I'm going to get another shirt that says "I'm not taking your stuff anymore," and you can wear that into the.
No more stuff taken. I like it. Well, it's always a pleasure to have you on the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
This half-hour power just completely flies off the clock.
I'm a little annoyed by the whole thing because I think I should be here more than once a month, but it's okay. We're going
to do that. We're going to get you here more than once. We're going to ask for some donations.
What does the brother got to do?
The brother going to have to donate.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
All right. I got cats. If you want a cat.
And dogs too. No, it's always a pleasure to have you back.
Thank you so much.
Half-hour power that goes by really, really quickly.
It does.
We are going to have you on more segments other than once a month. Definitely once a month, and then You just keep bringing your rich stuff to the table.
I'm going to do it.
At the end of the day, you know what we say here?
Yes, sir.
On the podcast program here called Conversations.
What do we say?
At the end of the day,
give it to them.
It's all about how you leave them feeling.